Hey folks, this is Ron here at Oregon Hot Rod. In this video, you're going to see the short version of a 7-part series I did on how I built this bead roller. Taking the Eastwood bead rollers, mounting it to an old engine stand, and putting a garage door motor on it. This is the short version of that 7-part series. This here's only about 20 minutes. And hopefully you'll watch it all the way through. It gives you pretty much everything I did to build this thing. If you really want to give yourself a lot of punishment and you want to watch the 7-part series, then please feel free. That gives you all the information on how I did this and my thinking in doing it and the process I went through and anyway. So if you like the video, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button so I get more action on YouTube, and hit the notification. I've got a lot of videos coming up. I've got lots of projects I'm working on and lots of things that's going to be coming up over the next who knows how long, years. Anyway, so please subscribe to our channel, and thanks for being here. Today I want to go over a little bit. I've been trying to get together parts to put together a bead roller. I bought one of the Eastwood bead rollers and looked at it and I go, this is a lot of work. And so I got online, looked at a bunch of videos like everybody else does. And you know, a lot of these guys are just using a half-inch drill and making these bead rollers out of that, and I go, that's kind of cheesy. But so I decided I want to put a motor on mine. And so what I did is I picked up garage door opener. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get this garage door opener all set up here. See if I can't make it work. I'm going to use this old engine stand here to put up the bead roller on. Got the bead roller all set up over here. I got it torn down. Now there's one piece here that I found that one gentleman did on the bead roller that I thought was a good deal. And that was to put in a spring right here. What I did is you drill through all the way through to the bottom down here, drill all the way down into the bolt, tap this here for threads so that you can screw it down. It'll lock on to this other bolt here that comes in the other side. You drill through here so this here can move back, the bolt can move back and forth here. Then you put a spring on top here. What that does is that this allows this piece here to pull back up your roller to pull back up automatically when you release your clamp here. Okay, so we got the spring and bolt put into the bead roller here. So turns out 3-inch bolt with a 1 3/4 inch spring, 5/16 1 3/4 inch spring. Works pretty darn good. You can see everything is moving really nice now. Okay, so I gathered up my parts. I got another couple pieces and stuff, but what I essentially settled on was this here little piece of angle iron here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it to the bead roller here. I'll drill a hole here. There's holes already in the bead roller. I just cleaned up the holes. I need to drill another one back here. So I'll drill and tap another hole back here, then I can bolt this on without having to weld it or anything else. That way I can detach it if I want later or whatever. Then this will get welded over here to the engine stand, and I'll just weld this onto here, and then the bead roller will sit over onto here. So next move is get down to the other shop, do some drillings, and start putting this baby all together. Okay, here we go, folks. Mounted up onto the engine stand, bolted up temporarily so that we can get an idea of how everything's gonna work here. Next phase is getting this motor mounted to the stand. My plan is to take the handle from the bead roller that comes with it, take this handle, and then probably chop this off here and just use this portion here, drill it and tap it to put my sprocket on, and put it on that way. We'll see once I get the sprocket and stuff. And then once I'm done with that, then I could possibly use the other portion here with the handle on it to make my adjuster for the rollers right in here, and I can put this up on here so that I can spin this around here easily. Okay, so here we are down at the other shop. Now I've got the sprocket down here. So you can see what was nice about this sprocket is the center hole here was exactly the same size as the shaft size on the turning arm. Now I've got the turning arm set up here in the powered hacksaw. I'm going to cut it off, and then I'm going to use just this portion of the handle to attach to the sprocket. Okay, so this part here is really pretty critical because I want to make sure that this is set up in the right direction, and I want it on this hub. It's got to be centered. Then also the holes, since this is tapered, have to be on this long side. Okay, so we got everything all drilled and tapped here. We got quarter 20, grade 8 bolts with lock washers all set up on here. It's all tapped in, ready to install. Let's see what we got. Bam! Now let's go clean this thing up, put it on, and see how it works. Okay, so we got the gear mounted to the bead roller here. Where the hell is, there it is, right there. So as you can see, right in here, you can see that the bolts are just leaning right up against the bead roller there, right up against here. And that's okay, because those bolts don't really matter because they turn with the roller anyway with the gear. So having them right up against there is good because that way they can't back out or anything. Then you just bolt it up and you'll be fine. So the next part of this process, mount this motor on here. Okay, so we got our pieces pretty well cut here. Now I'm just kind of mocking things up. So I took that little piece of angle iron I had here and I drilled it out. Now the piece that I cut off of the arm off the garage door opener, it had one of these here T-bars that was on the end of the motor here, that it came off and the chain ran around that and stuff. So, but I just cut off like 8.5 inches or whatever it was here. And there was actually one hole already drilled in here. And so I just cut past the hole that was already in here. And I decided I would take this piece of angle here. And I believe that's like 1.5 by 2. And I just, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weld it right on here. The bolts clear the sprocket just fine. And then the motor, this here will bolt to the motor, and then this here will just set right in here. And that'll bolt it all together. And that'll stabilize the top end up here. Okay, so first part of the battle is done. We've got the bracket all welded in here. I used the Make Weld Pretty tools on it, kind of cleaned her up a bit. So now I'm ready to bolt the motor back on here. I need to put the bead roller back on here. I had to take it off to grind up the weld here. So let's start putting everything back together here and see what the heck we got. Okay, so we've got everything ready to go on here. I got the angle iron drilled out, got it bolted onto the bottom of the motor here. Also realized that this here chain was a little bit too tight when everything was bolted up here. This here bracket, when I welded it on, it just a little bit too tight. It didn't give me enough room. So I went and I elongated out the holes here on the bracket. I just drilled a second set of holes and then used a little deburring tool to get in there and clean everything up. So now I'm ready to assemble this thing back up, take my measurements. All right, back at her here. So after taking a little rest, doing a little bit of thinking, and getting my brain, getting some food in me, I realized that I need to make this motor on the bottom. I not only had to have it move up and down, I need to have it move it back and forth and to sideways as well. So I need it to move 3 different ways. The top is going to be pretty stable. However, it needs to move up and down too. So we already elongated the holes in the top. So I need to do the same thing in the bottom. Now, the garage door opener already has slotted holes in the framing of it. So the angle iron that I was using, it was fine. I just had to drill some holes in it. So that gives me my back and forth movement with the motor. However, my in and out movement and my up and down movement, I need to come up with something. So what I did was I made a couple of L brackets here. And these L brackets, if you look at them, one of them has, on one side it's one direction, and on the other side it's the other direction. So this will allow it to move this way and this way. So what I'll do is I'll be drilling down into the engine stand. I'll drill a hole through there so I can run a bolt through there. So I shouldn't need more than just one bolt, I don't believe, going through there. I think that'll be pretty stable. And then I'll drill a couple of holes into the angle iron, and so I'll be able to bolt everything together, and I'll be able to adjust it however I need it from that point on. Okay, so we have the bead roller assembled, finally. Kind of give you an idea what I did here and stuff. So you can see on the bracket here, I kind of left this thing loose right now. Everything seems to be good and tight, but because of that loose bracket up here, everything's kind of held together. But you can see how I put the bracket here. You got an adjustment here. This here was actually off. I'm going to have to re-drill this. That's why that's like that. It was out too far. It was way out here. So anyway, I redone that. You can tied up the put all the electronics up in here. Got everything tied up. I'm going to have to shorten up these wires here. You can see here there's the adjustment there. You can go back and forth to the right and to the left. So this one here moves it back and forth, and these ones here move it up and down. I think this is going to work out just fine. Unfortunately the sprocket up here has been a little bit, but other than that, I can't complain. It turned out pretty damn decent. So give her a little test run here. That should give you an idea of what she does. Bam. All right. So it's operating. I can do a little bit of work here, make some fancy stuff, make some ugly stuff. We'll see what happens. So I might go ahead later on. You know, people have done the thing with putting the bracing back in here, but I don't know. These things are. This is pretty solid. It does move a little bit. You can see it moving just a little bit. But if it becomes a problem, I've got a solution for that too. So anyway, this is Ron signing out. Thanks for watching. OregonHotRod.com.